Today we're going to cover both the mobile application and the web portal and allow you to take a look at both of those tools, how they work together, and of course also cover how to enter that data and some of the features that are embedded in the web portal and also in the application that you can use on a daily basis to help manage your farm. And we had over 100 people sign up for today's webinar, so we're certainly excited to have all of you with us today. Just a reminder, we also are going to be recording the webinar today, and we'll be providing you with that link following the webinar. So if you want to go back and you want to revisit some of the information that we shared or something specific that we showed you, you are more than welcome to do so. You'll also be able to share that with individuals on your farm, your friends, neighbors, etc. And we certainly invite you to do that as well. And again, if you have to leave early today, you can always go back and check that recording and you'll be able to see what you missed. So if you do have to leave early today, we completely understand. We are going to try to keep this between an hour and 30 minutes if we can. We do have a lot of information to cover and we are going to go in a rapid fire format. And at this time, I would like to welcome my co-presenter and also one of the co-founders of GESDATE onto the line as well. He's sitting here with me and we're going to be tag teaming this today. And I'll give you a little bit of information about myself and then introduce you to Josh as well. My name is Jeff Maynard and I'm one of the co-founders, and myself along with one of our other co-founders and Josh came up with this idea a couple of years ago as we started looking for programs that were out there. Myself, I grew up in the ag industry, had 20 to 30 sows, and could never quite find an application or a program that really did everything that I wanted it to do, and that was current and was with today's technology. Everything that we seemed to find was built on 1980s programming, etc. And so we wanted something that was current, up to date, and was easily manageable. And we basically came up with this idea and partnered with two amazing individuals. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Josh, who's going to be on the webinar today. Josh Cork, he is one of our software engineers and obviously co-founder. He also has extensive background in global software applications and building those global software applications. Welcome, Josh.
Super excited to be here talking to you guys today, and yeah, I'm excited to show you guys the app. I'll cover that portion, and Jeff will cover most of the desktop web portal stuff.
So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started, and the first thing that we're going to do is talk to you just a little bit about the timeline of GESDATE, and I covered a little bit about that. September 1st of 2013, myself along with one of our other co-founders, and there's three of us, Michael Johansson, basically sat down and we were discussing building an app, and I said, I have an idea, and that's when it started. It was September 1st of 2013. We came up with the concept and started really putting together the framework of the idea. And then less than a year later, we actually launched the actual application that was a mobile first application. So it was available only on your iPhone. And we launched that at the Crossbred Classic there in Indiana, and with tremendous success, and have had just an awesome growth pattern since then, and a tremendous amount of users, and certainly some really great users that have provided us with some awesome feedback about GESDATE, and also have been very involved and integral as we have built GESDATE in providing us with feedback, and that's really important to us. I have an agriculture background, former ag ed teacher, former show pig and purebred producer. However, we want to know what's important to our users. And so if you ever have any ideas, and we'll go over that a little bit later, but we would love to hear anything that you would like to talk to us about and your suggestions and ideas. Today, July 21st, 2015, we not only have the app that's available for your iPhone, iPad, etc., but we also have launched the web portal. So now you can manage your entire farm, your entire herd directly from the web. And we also are currently launching an advisory board that will help to kind of position our business and help us as we make decisions with regards to where we go next with the app and with the web portal. We also are going to be introducing some ambassadors to to GESDATE here very shortly that are going to be helping us to basically promote the brand and be able to go out and answer questions and help onboard users moving forward. Also, we are in an intensive research and development mode, so we are constantly looking for innovative ideas and items that we can bring to the table to make GESDATE the absolute best that it can be. We're very, very focused on show pig, purebred, and commercial producers, and we want to know exactly what those individuals are looking for in this app so that it is a very, very powerful tool for you, and you can use it on a daily basis to help manage your farm. In addition to that, if you are unaware, there are some compliancy issues that are coming down the pipe that we will talk about a little bit later, and we are ahead of the curve by basically building in some applications within the web portal and so forth where you can print out some reports on vaccinations and so forth. And here very shortly, it's our understanding that it could be that both purebred show pig and obviously commercial producers are going to be required to present and provide some reporting based on the vaccinations that they give to their animals. And we want to be ahead of the curve there and allow you to have that at your fingertips so that if you need to produce that for your veterinarian or whoever it is, that you have the ability to do so. So that'll give you a little bit of information about GESDATE. We have a tremendous number of items that we're going to be releasing throughout the rest of 2015 here and going into 2016. We'll cover those shortly with you, but let's get right into showing you how to use GESDATE. First of all, we're going to talk about the mobile application, and this is available exclusively for iOS, meaning individuals that have an iPhone, an iPod Touch, or an iPad. This includes our FarmSync technology, which allows you to share information with another individual or a multitude of individuals that may work on your farm. The mobile first application, of course, is safe and secure, and that was one of our number one priorities whenever we built GESDATE. GESDATE is built on Microsoft Azure, a cloud platform, which we think is probably the best platform that's available today and one of the safest and most secure. So your data is always backed up instantly to the cloud, and we have access to that data available for you anytime that you have any issues or questions, etc. And it is completely secure. You have a password that's enabled so that you are the only person that can access that data. Even we can't have access to that data without your permission and without you calling in and discussing that with us. So we're really excited to use the Microsoft Azure program to build GESDATE, and it has allowed us to do some pretty incredible things and stay a step ahead of the technology curve and so forth. So that being said, we're going to go right into looking at the actual application, and we're going to pull that up. So we're going to put you on hold there for just a second.
And while Jeff is doing that, I think it's important to note everything that I'm going to show you guys here today with the mobile app. You'll be able to do both in the mobile app and on the desktop, and you'll actually be able to do even more than what I show you today in the app on the desktop. So it's a pretty cool feature set that we have, and the ability to sync back and forth between both the web and the desktop is pretty awesome.
And what you are going to see on your screen is actually the iPhone application as we are using it.
Okay. So what you guys should see on your screen is a live version of the app that I have here on my desktop or in my hand. So GESDATE is super feature rich. So there's a ton of capability built into GESDATE. I'm gonna breeze through some of that functionality today on the app and kind of show you guys how to use the app in general. I won't get too far into details. We plan on having future webinars, future trainings and videos that will kind of take you guys into more depth and detail on exactly what you can do with GESDATE, but I will give you that kind of broad overview today. So what I've done here is I've opened up the GESDATE app on my iPhone. It immediately comes up into a screen where I I have a menu of options here. So I can go in and I can look at breeding calculator, and this auto calculates based on what day I pick, and you can see the confirmed bred date, the farrowing due date, and the 6-month-old date is pre-populated based on whatever date you chose. Just as a feature in case you're doing some sort of calculation or want to know ahead of time. That functionality is built into actually the screens when you're actually breeding a sow as well. You have a herd screen, which will show you kind of all your sows and where they sit within categories in your farm. So we have 3 different categories that are listed here at the top. We have bred, farrowed, and open. So open are sows that are available to be bred. Bred are obviously ones that have bred, and farrowed are ones that have been bred and are currently listed as farrowed in the app itself. So if I go into open sows, I can show you kind of the detail that we can track here with the sows that are in the system. So we have a whole bunch of different information here. I'm going to try not to scroll too fast because I know some of you may not have great internet connection, and hopefully that's an okay speed. But you can see we collect a bunch of different data, or give you the ability to collect a bunch of different data associated with your sows. So it's standard data that I think you would capture on pen and paper today, or on a whiteboard or whatever it is that you use, or an Excel spreadsheet, whatever it is. But then we give you some other functionality that you can really only get from an app or having this capability in the palm of your hand. So we give you, for instance, a photo gallery, and in that photo gallery, you can add pictures directly from the phone. And Jeff will show you some actual pictures of sows that we have in the system here in a bit. But when you're in that photo gallery, you can actually tap the plus and you can take a photo directly on your phone. So if I wanted to take a photo of my GESDATE hat, I could do that. And I can add that directly to that sow in this case. We have that capability for both sows and pigs. We also have the ability to add vaccinations, so you can add and keep track of what vaccinations you've given a sow, and you can do that for sows, you can do that for litters, or you can do that for individual pigs. Or you can come down here and you can actually breed a female. So you can go through and put information in about the breeding. Let me show you what one of those looks like filled out. So once the sow is listed as bred, we capture information about that sow along with any notes. So those notes can be free-form, whatever you want to enter, or whatever folks that are tied into your farm through FarmSync want to add.
Josh, one thing to note that I'm seeing on the screen right now is down in the notes area, in this specific sow, we have bred March 30th p.m. and then again bred March 31st p.m. And we've had a lot of people that have given us feedback that have said, wow, it would be really nice to be able to put into the app and also in the web portal when we actually bred those animals. So if we breed that sow twice, if we had an individual area where we could load that information. So we're actually doing that, and that's going to be getting released really, really soon. But for now, things like that you can add into the sow, into the individual sow, and all kinds of different notes. Really, anything that you want to keep on hand about that specific sow, you can add in there as well. So.
Yep, and again, in terms of just tips and tricks with using GESDATE, we plan on emailing those out to you guys on a regular basis as we have them, just because we won't be able to go into super depth today. But we've got lots of neat tips and tricks that we'll be forwarding out on things that you can use having this application in the palm of your hand that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to do. So I'm going to go back here, or actually let me show you. In that due to farrow section, you can actually, let's say it's time to farrow the sow and you want to capture that information. You just toggle this has farrowed, and then we give you information to capture the farrowing date, which is by default set to today. You could change that if you wanted to here, and just pick, let's say, a different date. And then we have the ability to capture other information. So what crate number they were in, the number born alive, which then creates the pigs in the system, and other detail. And let me show you, instead of going through and filling out one of those, let me show you what one of them looks like filled out. So I'm going to go into farrowed, and you can see for this particular breeding, here's what it looks like when it's filled out. So all this information is captured, and then we have additional detail down here at the bottom. So once the sow has farrowed, then you have the ability to go in and drill in on detail on the individual pigs. So let's see. hopefully here. Again, additional information includes things like photos, so you can take an individual photo of a pig or multiple photos, whatever you need.
And also on this specific screen, you'll see right there, Josh, if you go back one, you'll see that we have left the breed open. So we don't automatically determine the breed based on the sow or the boar. The reason why, obviously, is, as you guys know as show pig producers, that some of those animals may be what we call Southwest. So you may have a crossbred sow that you've bred, and she has some hogs that are going to actually classify as Yorks or Hamps or whatever they are. And so we allow you to put the breed in on that individual pig. And then obviously, if they're purebred, then you can load the registration data, registration numbers in there as well. So,
Yep. Then we have same functionality down here at the bottom where you can capture freeform notes. We also have sale information on the pigs. So you can capture the sales price, the sales date, really all the sales information. You can add contact details. And when you do that, you can actually add them by typing them in manually, or you can add them from your address book. So you can add from contacts, or you can add manually.
one of the really cool things here that was actually was suggested by some of our users was adding the ability to put in who the agent was that bought that hog or who it was placed by. And obviously, as you know, as show pig and purebred producers, that a lot of times one individual may buy that animal and then they may transfer the ownership later. And so you have the ability to do that, and you're able to track who was the original purchaser, if it is a jock or whoever is going to sell that animal. And then later on, you can put who the transfer information is to, and then also use that for transfers of registered animals as well. So we've built in some functionality there that's really, really specific to purebred and show pig producers, and we're going to continue to do that with some of our R&D, research and development that we've worked on. But this is a really incredible tool to be able to harvest all that information, and we're going to show you when you get over to the web portal some of those reports that you are able to generate that are really, really powerful. So
Yeah, fantastic. That's a good lead into.
and obviously, Josh, the more you use the app, the more you input data, the more powerful it is.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was just going to say. The more diligent you guys are about actually getting your herd data into the tool and using it in depth, which some people may not have even known there was this type of functionality, and we're adding new features we know pretty often, so sometimes it can be hard to keep up, right? But the more you can use it in depth in those kind of really neat deep features that we have, the much better off you'll be in terms of doing your reporting and doing all sorts of stuff with GESDATE. And Jeff will show you a lot of that when we get over to the actual web portal. You'll see some of those reports and how this rolls out. So let me go back here to the main screen. I'm going to show you a litter screen, although I don't think there are any past litters in this particular demo account. This is something we just created for purposes of walking you guys through here on the app. In this screen, though, you would actually see all the past litters that you've had in your herd. You can actually add a bred female directly here from the home screen. Again, this was feedback that we got from the users to make it easier to do. So right directly from this screen, you can click on add a bred female and add that information for any sows that are open, or you can click on add an open female where maybe it's a brand new sow that you're adding to your herd. You can add all that detail here. And then you can also see a list of archive sows. So there are various reasons why you might want to archive a sow, but if you do for whatever reason, we can show you that history so you don't necessarily lose that history.
Right. So if you've sold that sow, if she died for some reason, etc., then you can save all that information. So you obviously have all of those details to track that sow that was on your farm, all of her pigs, etc., and it's still going to be available in the app to you at any time. Also, we have some individuals that maybe they have 60, 70, 80 sows, maybe more, and they haven't wanted to enter every single sow and sit down and really do it whenever we had just the app. So what they did is they came into the farrowing barn, they would add them as a bred female. So some of that functionality allows you to do that. And then obviously if you have any of those bred gilts that are being sold online or that you buy privately, you can add them right there, and you don't have to go in and try to go through the whole process of actually breeding them and adding all that information.
So that's the herd screen. So I'm going to jump back here to the main screen that we get to, and I have a couple other features here that I'll show you. Just breeze over real quickly because I know we want to be respectful of your time here. So there's the summary report. This summary report really gives you a look out in time to see what you have coming. It's kind of like a queue of work that you know that you're going to have to go do over the next the next week or so. So you have here quick access to to let's see, to due to Pharaoh and due to cycle, and then there's another category out here down here at the bottom, sows to confirm, which we don't have any in that bucket right now.
But those would be gilts or sows that are getting ready to obviously see if they're going to pass over or if they're going to cycle, and so that we can check to make sure that they are bred and that hopefully everyone has passed over and that they're bred. And obviously you have this in here. This is probably one of the screens that's used the most by all of our users to see what is coming up to Pharaoh, what's due to cycle, so that they know what semen to order, etc., or what boars to put in with which gilts and sows, and then also to heat check, or excuse me, heat check any of those gilts or sows that are potentially coming back into heat.
Yep, good. So, so I'm going to hop back into that main screen, and here the last two features that we have are something that we call farm tasks and farm notes. So these integrate directly with the web portal. So you'll see these on Jeff's portion of the webinar where he's covering the web portal as well. But you can see that you can have tasks. So this is where you can add a task either for yourself or for someone else in your farm that has access to your farm, something you may want them to do or something you want to keep track of, and check off a list to say it was done or not done. And then we have farm notes. So farm notes allows you to go in and make general notes about maybe things that you're noticing as you're out and about in the farm. And or as you're sitting at your desktop computer working off the web portal, and you want folks that are kind of out in the field to want to be able to see. So that's farm notes and farm tasks. And when you create a task and you do it on the web portion, you can actually do send that notification directly out to those end users, or to whoever's in your farm that's actually has access to it and is using GESDATE.
So anyone that's through the farm sync technology, you can assign that task to them, and then they're going to receive that notification. So for instance, if you are driving down the road and you realize, oh my gosh, we need to order semen today on these 3 sows, you could type that in, or maybe you want to give them a task list for that day. You could type that in, and it's going to send them a notification and say, here's what you need to accomplish today, or here's what you need to do, or move this group of sows into the crates, or whatever it is. So, and you'll see here we've put in some samples here, order 10 gallons of Synergize, etc. And also, once you have completed that, you obviously can go up to the right-hand corner and delete it as well.
Yep.
So,
so let me show you one more thing here, I think. So let me go back into settings. So if you guys ever have any help that you need, like as you're using the app, we have this new feature where you can actually chat with support. So I'm going to click on chat with support, and I'm just going to type in a note here. So that gets sent over directly to both Jeff and my mobile, all our staff. It gets sent out to us so that we can do support requests for you guys. So as you have issues, we immediately can see them, and if we're available, we can respond back to them. What you should see here in a second is Jeff over diligently typing on his computer or his phone, and is able to send me a reply back. Oh, you know what, Jeff? I think I might be in offline mode, so it may not actually work right now. Let me go. Oh, actually, I don't want to. I don't want to spin up into online mode and get a bunch of notifications on my phone.
Okay. But just know that if you want to chat with us, you can do so by clicking on that, and it's going to send a notice directly to us, and our tech team is going to be able to respond to you. Obviously, depending on the time of day, it may be that we get back to you in minutes. It may be that it's going to take us a couple of hours, but just know that our team is available for us to answer your questions. If you are not currently using GESDATE, or if you know that somebody that currently is, I think you can talk to to any of them, and if they've ever reached out to us, they will be able to share with you that we are extremely responsive. We try to make sure that we're able to be very timely. We know that you are using this as a tool on your farm and that you need that data. You need to be able to access it. And if you are having any issues or whatnot, we're able to get you back up and running as fast as possible. Or it may be that you just have a question about functionality, and we certainly have the ability to communicate with you and be able to help you right away. So this is a great functionality that's built in. We also are going to show that where you can use that as well in the actual web portal.
Yep, yep. So let me cover one more thing here, Jeff. If you're not a GESDATE Premium user, you're currently a GESDATE Basic user, and you want to switch over to be a premium user, you have more than 3 sows. Oh, there's the response there. So you can see I'm in the app. I've left the notification area, so I didn't have to sit there and wait for Jeff to type back in hopes of seeing. I also didn't have to go constantly check back on that screen. As soon as Jeff replied, you can see wherever I'm at in the app, I get this little bubble that pops up, which you should see on your screen, and then I can jump right back into that conversation. So I'm going to close this out and go back to my little spiel here on moving from basic to premium. So if you decide that you're ready, you've tested out GESDATE, you like it, it provides the functionality that you need, and you have more than 3 sows because it's our limit for the free account, you can actually click on this little settings button and click on upgrade to premium, and you can purchase an account here directly in the app. Now, I'm already listed as a premium subscriber, so I'm seeing my option here. But if you're not a premium subscriber, you're a basic user, you'll see a couple options there. And Jeff, I think we'll cover some pricing later on, and I'd rather spend time on functionality here. So because I know you have a slide already for that. So I think that is basically it. I know we're about half an hour in, so I'm going to turn it over to you, Jeff, unless there's anything else you want me to cover here in the app.
No, I think that's great. And we did just get a comment that my voice is echoing it just a little bit, so we're going to go ahead and ask Josh to put his headset on mute because obviously it's picking up my voice as well and causing an echo. So we're going to do that. Hopefully you guys can hear us a little better now. Thank you, Shannon, for letting me know. If that sounds better, if you could please text me or let us know, we would greatly appreciate that. We want to make sure that everybody's able to hear us. So. And he said that fixed it. So we are good to go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move into the actual web portal, and we're going to show you exactly how to use the web portal. We also have a quick poll, and we're going to send this to you guys right now, and we wanted to find out just a couple of things. Find out what type of device you are currently using, and Josh is going to send that to you. If you get a chance, if you could answer that poll question for us, we would greatly appreciate that, and we are going to pull up the web portal right now. So this is the web portal, and if you have used only the application and you haven't used the web portal yet, we would love for you to go in and test out the web portal. You can use the exact same credentials, obviously, to log into the web portal as well as your login for your app on your phone. Now, for those of you that are Android users, this is where we need to talk a little bit about you being able to use the web portal kind of like an app, if you will. This web portal has been optimized for those individuals that are on an Android device or a smartphone other than an iPhone. And at one time we had discussed, and we did quite a bit of research about actually building an Android or smartphone app. There's a lot of reasons why we decided not to do that. And some of those, just to share with you just a little bit of history, but essentially there are a lot more smartphones and Android devices that are out there. And once you develop an app specifically for those phones, then you have to keep every single one of those platforms up to date. And so it would literally take away from us being able to continue to develop. And there's a very small pool of individuals that actually use Android devices versus iPhone. So that's why we've done that. But of course, we have optimized the website, and you are able to use the website on your Android phone, and it should come up and look absolutely great. And of course, you can use it as long as you have a web connection there. So here we are. We are in the actual web portal. And if you look over here, there's a couple of things that we want to highlight. This is the application menu that's located over here on the far left. And this has all of the different areas that we're going to discuss today. But as you log in, the thing that you're going to see up at the top is you're going to see how many sows you currently have bred, how many are farrowing in the next 7 days, how many sows are in heat in the next 7 days, and then how many litters you have to wean in the next 7 days. And so all of that information is available for you up there at the top, shows you the numbers so that you have that available to you. And then if we look right here in the center, you also have a scrolling menu, and this will have all of your sows that are due to farrow in the next 7 days located there. You can click on those and it'll take you right into their information, into their individual profiles. You also have the sows that are in heat in the next 7 days. You have a list of the litters that are to wean in the next 7 days. And then as you scroll down here to the bottom, you also have your farm notes that are available. You can also add the farm notes there, and then obviously the task list as well. So, and I'm just going to show them really quick, Josh, a task here. So let's say that we needed to breed sow 42-4 in pin 6. Then we can select who we want to assign that to. We're just going to assign it to, we're going to say that this is one of the people that's in with our farm sync, and then it's going to automatically assign it to that person. So now that is located in here, and I would have received a message on my phone that said, you have been assigned a task in GESDATE, and have all of that information. Over here on the right, you have the exact same breeding calculator that we have obviously in the app. You can go over here and select the calendar and put in the date. Now, one of the cool things in this specific, what we call a picker, which is the calendar there, if you want to go back and you want to check a date that's maybe a year or two ago, instead of having to click on the arrows and go all the way back, if you just click right here in the center where that date is July 2015, now it allows you to scroll through the years, and you can actually select the month, and then it'll pull up that calendar for that specific time. So let's just go back and say we wanted to find out some information on a litter that was born in February of 2014. Now I can click on the 11th, and it automatically tells me that the confirmed bred date would have been on Tuesday, March the 4th of 2014, the farrowing due date, and how old that pig's going to be at 6 months. We know that that 6 month time frame is kind of a typical number as far as raising show pigs of what those animals need to be age-wise whenever they're going to get shown. Also down here, we do have a weather app, and you can enter your zip code, and I'm just going to enter a random zip code here, and it's 99 degrees and partly cloudy in Gilbert, Arizona. The high today is 104. Now that'll stay constant with me at all times in the portal here. So on what we call the dashboard, and this is called the dashboard, this is where all this information is. So the first thing that we're going to look at is the sow. So over here on the left in the navigation menu, if I click on the sows, now I have a list of all the sows that are currently bred and all of the sows that are currently open on my farm. And we also have the ability to click on this button here and see all of the archive sows. There aren't currently any in here because this is just a sample of our farm. We also have a quick overview of our entire farm and all the sows and gilts that are there. So we have 37.5% are open, 37.5% are bred, and 25% are farrowed. If we want to add a new sow, we would go up here to the right-hand side where it says Add New Female, and you're just going to click on that, and this is where you would add that information. So, and we won't go through the whole process of adding a sow right now, but basically as you move down here, you're going to be able to enter all of the information for this sow. The areas in red are the areas that are required. So you're required to give an ear notch and some sort of sow identification, whether that is a ear tag number or a specific name that you have for that sow, whatever it is. You can also enter obviously that sow sire, her sire of dam, the next heat date if she's currently open, the last date farrowed, her breed, registration number if she's a purebred, stress status, her birth date, and then of course any notes. And this is a great area to add any information if you bought her through an online sale, if you bought her and she had been shown what she had won, some of her background history and so forth. And then of course you can save that information. And we'll back out here and I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm going to go into the open sows here. And this sow is currently open. She's a 7-3. We put the X in there to denote that she's a crossbred. That's just for our farm. If we were, let's say that was an internal thing that we did so we could denote between Durocs and crossbreds and Hamps and Yorks, etc. Her sow identification. And if you look at any of the information today, just so you know, and it looks familiar, we pulled some of this information from some sows that were recently sold in some very high profile online auctions. So if you look at any of this and you see some pictures in here, it's because those sows, we basically pulled in some generic information. This sow was actually purchased in the Heimer online sale. So we have the sire of dam, the next heat date, her breed. She's obviously a crossbred, so no registration number, her stress status, birth date, and then down here we added the online notes from that specific cell so that we have that information. We don't have to go back and try to retrack that information or try to pull that out of showpig.com where the sow was specifically sold. So now we have all of those details. We also have the ability to go in here and we can add vaccinations. We see that she was administered a vaccination, and this is just, we made up this protocol, but 7/7 of 15, she was given Pharaoh Sure B Gold to get ready to breed. We can also add additional vaccinations by just clicking the plus sign up here on the top. It allows us to type in the vaccination name, the dosage, and the date that it was administered. Now, this is going to be really, really important moving forward because this is where we are finding that there's a lot of organizations that are talking about compliance that's coming down the pike, where we're going to have to monitor all the vaccinations that are given on our farm, and we're going to have to report that, whether it be to our veterinarian, the USDA, or to whoever those individuals may be. We have been proactive in adding all of this in so that you're going to be able to submit all of that information so you can continue to get vaccinations. Also, we're able to track all of her past litters. So if she had that information or had we entered that in here, that would be located here. We can also see her sow photo. So Josh added the photo earlier from his phone in the actual app on here, and so that shows up. We're able to click on it and you can see the actual photo in here. You could also add photos in here of if she had won any shows, if she had been shown, anything from a baby picture, any photos that you want, and it's an unlimited number that you can add there. You can also delete the sow. So if she's no longer at your farm, you don't want to add her to the archive, you would be able to select the delete button. And we'll show you what that looks like, and it just says deleting a sow will also delete all associated litters, vaccinations, and we obviously toggle the question to make sure that you want to do that and that it is irreversible, because once that animal is deleted, it's no longer recorded in your history. So we'll go ahead and cancel that just to leave her in. Let's go back to the sows. So that was one of our bred or farrowed sows. We're going to look at this sow here, and this information is going to pull up, and we can see that this sow is currently bred. Has she farrowed yet? And this sow has not. So if we want to look at her breeding details, we can pull that up. So we can see that this sow was bred to Hot Rod at Armstrong's. She's negative. The date that she was bred, her confirmed bred date, the farrowing due date. We can add notes in here, and if we wanted to add notes, we would just go over to edit, and it would open up all of the fields that are editable, and then of course we would want to click save once we had saved that. And she has farrowed, so we went ahead and farrowed her. The litter details, the actual date that she farrowed. Has the litter been weaned yet? They have not, so they are still on the sow. Technically, this farm litter number is down here, and then we gave that sow, or excuse me, that litter a litter score. We can also add litter vaccination. So we want to track what vaccinations have been administered to the entire litter, then we can do that here. And you'll see that we have one in here for an IPD that was administered on July 1st, 2015. If you want to add those, then you just add that in here, and you'll be able to print out a report to monitor all of the individual litter vaccinations as well as individual pig vaccinations on your farm. And then of course all of the litter numbers. So what parity the sow was, what crate she's in, how many stillborn, born alive, etc. So you're able to look at all of this data. And if at any time you need to edit that, you just go over here on the far right and click edit on any of this information again, and you can click save from any of these boxes and it'll save the information that was in there. Now, this is where it gets really exciting, especially for show pig and purebred producers where you're trying to track individual pigs. So we're going to click up here right above or right next to the breeding details and the sow profile, then you will see pigs. This is where all of the pigs are automatically entered based on the number that were born in that litter and obviously the litter number. So we have 11-1 and we're just going to go into this individual pig. And this is where we would start adding all of the information for this pig. Again, once you go in and you begin to edit this, it's going to automatically load the sire, the dam, and also the date of birth. But at that time, you can choose what the sex is. So let's just say this is a gilt, and we're going to choose the breed. She's a Chester. We could put in her registration number and add any notes here that may be applicable to that specific pig. Did she have a belly rupture? Did she prolapse? Maybe she's one that you're going to keep and retain. Whatever those notes may be that you wanted to know on that individual pig. Also, over here on the right, you can add a photo of that hog, and I'll show you how that works just pulling in a photo. And we can choose File, and I'm going to go to the desktop here, and this is not a Chester, but I'm just going to pull in a crossbred. And let's say that you are conducting online auctions. This is a great way for you to add those photos for those individual pigs that you have sold. And now it's going to be in that hog's profile forever. And you also will be able to add any photos if that hog went out and won one of the NSR shows or local county fair, whatever it is, you're able to add all those photos so that you have access to those at any time as you move forward, and you can go back and see what that sow produced, etc. You can also add an individual vaccination here, just like we showed earlier, so that you can see add an individual vaccination to that pig rather than to the whole litter. Now, has this pig sold? This is where we start getting into being able to track a lot of information. Once we click yes, now you'll see if you scroll down that there's a lot of information that can be added here. You can add the sell price. So let's say this pig sold for $500. The sell date, and we're just going to choose today. So that goes in. We're going to say that this animal was sold to Jack Smith, and it's Jack at smithfarms.com. So his information is now in, who he was placed by, and we're just going to say Jeff Manor because that's me. Transfer to name is going to be, so the agent that purchased it would have been me. I sold that animal to Jack Smith, and now it's going to be transferred into Jennifer Smith's name if it was a purebred, and that's the daughter because that is the name that it needs to be in for her to be able to enter that animal possibly at a junior NJSA show or whatever it is. Now we have all of that information. We have the parent's name, we have who placed or purchased the pig originally, and then also the transfer name. And then we can enter our address, our city, our state, postal code, obviously, country, mobile phone, work phone. And so we have all of that information. And so really now the GESDATE web portal becomes a CRM where you can actually track all of your buyers and your clients, and you have all of that information at your fingertips at all times. So we're just going to go ahead and save that. Now that information is in our system, and we will show you here shortly in the reports where you can go in and look at all of that information. So if we go back into sows, we've looked at bred and farrowed sows, we've looked at open sows. Let's go ahead and I can show you really quickly if this sow, we went ahead and heat checked her and we're ready to breed this female. This information is here, and we can go ahead and just click breed this female. Now we're going to enter the service sire, the service sire stress status, the date that she was bred. Maybe it was one that we did a week ago or 2 weeks ago and we want to go in, or if we're entering new animals into the web portal, we would go in here and be able to basically breed all of those sows as we enter them. Also, just a quick note, as we move forward, we obviously are working on a number of items to add into GESDATE. One of those is going to be that whenever you go in to select a service sire from this location, it will auto-populate any of the previous sires that you have entered in there based on how you start to spell them. So if you put in an A and that boar's name was atomic, it would start to show a list of all of those bores. So it's going to auto-populate that for you. We're going to do that across the board throughout the system, and that'll be coming very, very shortly. So we're just going to back out of that. So now that we've gone in, we've shown you how to basically look at the bred, the farrowed sows, etc. If you want to look at any past litters, this is where those would be located, right here in this pane. And then on the breedings, of course, this has all of your list again of all the sows that are currently bred. It has the confirmed date there for you to look at. It has their individual identification along with their permanent ID. So for instance, if this sow here was red tag 15, then we would also know that she was the 147-8 Duroc. And we know that different people have different ways to identify those sows. We've been working with some partners on our app, and for instance, if we look at this specific sow here, if you look, this has Y0414. If we look at that number, we know that that's a Yorkshire, and she was born in the 4th month of 2014, and that's the identification that they use on their farm. They produce purebred, so that's the information that they have entered there. We can see it again here in her information on the sow profile. So her sow identification is Y0414, and then her ear notch is 376-1. So all of that information is available to them on that specific sow. So if we go back to the dashboard, again, you can see all of this information. And then if we want to go into the individual notes section, we can go in there and we will be able to see all of our farm notes that have been created, possibly for that day or that week. Order 10 gallons of Synergize, send in registration papers on Durocs or Hamps to the NSR. And then once we've completed that, let's say we sent in the registration papers, we're just going to click over here on the X, and it's going to ask us if we want to go ahead and delete that note. We're going to click OK. Now the note is no longer there. If we want to add a note, we do so right here. So, and we'll just enter the same information. So send registration papers on litter 14 to NSR. So now I've made that note. It's added into the system here. And you also will see that it gives us the date that it was created on the 21st. Now that information is available not only here, but also in the web portal for myself or anyone that logs into our farm to see what those notes are. So I don't know about if you guys are like I am, but I like to write down a lot of notes, and it's certainly easier if I can just keep them in the app and be able to go back and look at those at any time. You also over here from the navigation menu can go into the tasks. We talked about that before. You can go in here and assign a task to any individual. So if we type in the task here, and again, it's breed, we're just gonna sow 18-4 in pen 9, and then we choose who is a part of our farm that we have associated with the farm sync technology, then I'm going to assign it, and then we're going to save it. Now, I will get a notice on my phone that says you have been assigned a task. So this is a great tool to use on your farm if you need to let your herdsman, your wife, your husband, your kids, whoever it is that's working there, know what they need to be doing to that day or that week, or give them some tasks that need to be done. Now we're going to go into our reports, and we're going to put this on hold for just a moment as I pull up, and we're going to pull up an actual farm so we can show you the caliber of the reports. So bear with me for just a moment. And now we are in the Schultz Farms portal. And thank you, Shannon, for allowing us to use your data and show this in real time, because we wanted people to be able to see what is available to you once you are in the reports. This is very, very powerful. This is available specifically in the web portal. So if you're using the app on your phone, you would need to get this information from the web portal. But of course, you can do that by just getting in or going into your iPhone, and of course going into the web and your web browser and being able to access it just like we would here. So, but this information is located here based on the information that you have inputted into your phone or into the web portal. And of course, you can export those PDFs, and we're going to show you right now. I just clicked export. Now it has saved it down here at the bottom, so I'm just going to click on that PDF, and there we go. We know that there's one sow that has a 21-day check that's out. We have one that has next heat date is in 2 weeks, etc. And this is just kind of a basic overview. Maybe not a report that you would use all of the time, but certainly one that some people may want to use. And then we're going to go down to farm farrowing details. Now we get into some really positive information that we can use on a day-to-day basis. First of all, up here you can search the data. So let's say that we want to check Shaky, for instance. That's one of our sows. Now we have been able to pull up just her information rather than see all of the sows that are listed there. We can also search by sire if that's what we want to do. So radioactive. Now we have been able to pull up that one of these sows was bred to radioactive. So in that farm farrowing detail, you're able to search any of the sows on your farm, any service sires, etc. You also have a date picker here. So as you enter more data, you're able to basically drill down and put in the dates that you would want that information pulled up from, the starting date and also the end date, and then just click the refresh button. Let's go ahead and export this PDF, and I'll show you what that's going to look like once you get that exported. And we do not have this set up to save on the computer, so that's why it's saving there. But here is our exportable report. This is our farm farrowing detail report. We have all of our litters here, the date that they have farrowed, the nickname of the sow, the sire of dam, what parity, what sire of that specific litter, and then also obviously the number that were alive, stillborn, boars, gilts, number weaned, etc. So this can be a really powerful tool to go back in and look at your sow base and see who's performing and what they're doing. So that was our farm farrowing detail report. We have a female status summary. This provides a total outlook of the different breeds of sows that are on our farm. So we have 4 Berkshire sows, 3 Chesters, 17 crosses, 3 Durocks, a Poland, and a Spot. Shannon, it looks like you need to buy a couple Yorkshire sows. If anyone out there has any Yorks for sale, you can get in touch with Shannon. But all of these are located here. He has, it looks like 7 sows that are open. This shows the number that are bred, how many he's culled, the percent that are open currently, and then obviously the percent that are bred. And again, he can export this or he can print directly from here. So if he presses the print button, it would provide him the opportunity to do so as well. So we're going to go back to our reports over here and continue to look at these. Female status summary. Farm farrowing trend, again, same data that's available to you by month, how many hogs were born alive, survivability, average 21-day weight, and then also you're able to filter through all of that information. Litter log, this has the information on each litter that has been born on that farm. So the date of birth, the litter number, the breed, service sire, sire of dam, dam ear notch, number born, male and female. So you have all this information if you want to specifically drill down to a specific month, or if you need that information based on a specific time period in the year, half of the year or quarter or whatever, you have that available to you so that you can look at that information. Sales by year. This gets exciting as well. You can see how many pigs have been sold during that year's time. So in 2014, $40,350 worth of hogs were sold. In 2015, $14,881. It looks like the fall season is probably Shannon's most positive part of the year where he sells the most pigs. So sales by year and month, again, same information, but by the month. Sales by state, so you can actually see what states are purchasing your animals. Sales by service sire. This is really exciting for you to be able to look and say, wow, this boar has done an exceptional job for us. We were able to sell a lot of pigs. So if we look down the list here, we can see Leroy at Fisher's sold $6,600 worth of pigs out of that boar. So maybe that's a boar that we want to go back in and breed to again. Bad Cat, $5,300 worth of pigs. And maybe there's a boar that maybe we didn't sell as many pigs out of, so maybe we don't want to breed back to that boar. But we also have the ability to look here and say, wow, I spent X number of dollars on semen, and this is what I was able to get out of that cost. So you have the ability to kind of evaluate those numbers. And again, you always have the date picker up here to see what that information is. Sales by dam. This is probably one of the most exciting features in our reports, because you're able to look and say, what sows do I need to keep? What sows do I potentially need to cull? And you're able to really evaluate who is or what is the most powerful sow on your farm. What sow is doing the best job for you? And so you have obviously this Mason sow 109-6 looks like she made $9,000 so far in total sales. That's probably a sow that I would say that this individual wants to keep on their farm. So you have that information. You also have sales by sex, so you know what your hogs are bringing boars versus gilts. Sales by breed and sex, and then really exciting information here that you can harness and use is sales by sold to and name. So this is going to allow you to basically see, and it's populating right now, so it takes just a moment for it to pull up, but you're going to be able to see who you sold those animals to. And it provides you with their email address if you've entered that information, and the total sales, how much that individual has purchased through your farm, and it has all of this information. So you can use this as a CRM by harvesting that data, potentially sending out emails from this information. Whatever it is, you're able to look in here and see who your best clients are, who spent the most money. And you can also click up here on these and it will place them into alphabetical order. It will sort them accordingly on sold to, email, total sales, etc. That's one thing that I forgot to show you. So if we sort this alphabetically, then we can go down here to the bottom and we can export this list to a PDF. And by exporting it, now it's going to pull this list up. And it takes just a minute here to generate because it has a lot of information. So now that PDF is available, and now we have our list of all of the individuals that have purchased hogs recently, and that's available to you to use. So tremendous amount of information that's available to you in those reports. That being said, we have a lot of reports that are coming down the pike that we are going to continue to add. And if there's something that's very specific to you that you're looking for, that you want a report that says, I need this information, get in contact with us. Our team has the ability to help generate that report for you. Again, the most important thing to us is that we are able to build a program that you can use that is meeting your needs on your farm. And we want to be able to build this for you. This app and this web portal belong to you. And if you look over here on the left-hand side, you'll see some of the things that we're currently working on, and we're going to talk about that in a minute when Josh comes back on. But we have auctions that we're working on. Obviously, we've started that CRM, the financial side, forms, health, registration, stud and semen sales. There's a lot of different things we're working on in GESDATE, and we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about some of the items that we have coming here really shortly. So we're just at an hour right now. Hopefully you were able to see a lot of the functionality here in the web portal. And one of the other things that I want to show you is earlier I sent Josh a message whenever I saw that he needed some support. If you look down here in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see that there is this little J that's located in the circle with a 1 next to it. That is where I have started to communicate with this individual. So it says, hi, Shannon, Tess, did you get this? Shannon responded, yes, I did. Hi, Josh, what can I help you with, etc. So we were just playing with this just a few minutes ago, but you are able to see that we can communicate directly with you through this tab here. So if you have any questions, you can always reach us by getting into this area and asking any questions just by selecting this question circle down here in the right-hand corner. At any time, you're able to start a new conversation with us, and you'll also have a list of all the conversations that you've had with us in the past. So if there was something that you asked and we've responded, you can go back in. New conversation, you just start typing down here to start the conversation, and hi, I have a sow that I need to delete. How do I do that? And I send that, and it automatically sends it to our team. And we will respond to that as quickly as possible and get back to you and tell you exactly what you need to do. So please feel free to use that tool. Again, we're here to help. And the most important thing to us is that you know how to use the entire system and that you feel comfortable with it. We want to answer any of your questions as fast as possible. One thing that we're going to do right now that's really, really exciting is we have updated our pricing on GESDATE. And this is going to be really cool for all of you to see. And we're going to go ahead and talk about that right now. So,
And Jeff, right, these are the first people that we've told about this. This is you guys are the first to hear about
absolutely.
this.
This information has not been shared with anyone. And so you are the first people to get to see this. This is the new pricing structure of GESDATE. So as we have always done in the past, you can download and you can use GESDATE absolutely free. That is limited to 3 sows. The information is backed up to the cloud. You can still share with someone and set up a farm sync with that individual. All of the features are enabled, and this allows you to try the system before you actually buy it. And that's really important to us. We want people to be able to see the power of GESDATE and really get a feel for how it works. Then when you've made the decision to actually purchase and register to become a user, then you can decide what plan is going to be best for you. So here are the changes. In the past, we have had 1 month that you could purchase at a time, or you could purchase for a year, and it was based on every single user had the same price point. This is where this is going to change. So now you can purchase a standard monthly subscription for $9.99, or you can purchase an annual subscription for $119, and that is limited to 10 sows. Of course, all of your information is automatically backed up in the cloud, just like it always has been and always will be. You get 1 user, so that would just be yourself, and all the features are enabled, and of course you have unlimited support. So nothing different than what you would get at any other level, other than you are limited to 10 sows, and you can be the only user in that with that specific information. So you can log into the web portal, or you can have the app on your phone, but you're the only user that's allowed to use that data. Now, if you decide that you want to harness our farm sync technology, or you have more than 10 sows, this is where you would choose the premium level. The premium level allows you to have unlimited sows. We don't care if you have 5 or more than 10 sows, 5 sows, if you have 500 or 5,000. We have a plan for you, and this is where you would select one of those plans. Unlimited sows, you still have the cloud backup, obviously. You get 2 users, so yourself and an additional user. All the features are enabled, and of course, unlimited support. Now, once you start adding more than 2 users, that's where the pricing changes a little bit. So if you would like to use the app and then you have one other person that is going to sign up with FarmSync technology and have the app on their phone, you would pay $19.99 a month. 3 users, $29.99. 4 users, $39.99. So basically, it's $10 extra a month based on the users up to 4 users. You can also, of course, pay annually. We have a lot of people that just want to pay at one time, so they don't have to worry about, am I paid? When do I pay? And have to make sure that they're constantly updating it. We welcome you to be able to do that. So 2 users is $229, 3 users is $329, 4 users is $429. And then we have our final, what we call our unlimited pricing. This is unlimited sows, unlimited users, all the features are enabled, unlimited support. Again, this allows you to have as many people in your farm using the farm sync technology. So if you have 10 people that work for you on your farm, or even just 10 people between your family and your herdsmen or your partners in your farm, you all have the ability to get in there and have the farm sync technology enabled. You have unlimited sows, unlimited pigs, unlimited entry, That's $49.99 a month or $529 annually. So this is a great opportunity. I think we had a lot of people that discussed with us what our pricing, how it was structured. We wanted GESDATE to be available to everyone, and this is how we've been able to do it. So we hope you're as excited as we are about this specific pricing, and hopefully this opens it up to as many people that want to use GESDATE as possible. If you have any questions about the pricing, you can reach out to us at any time. We are happy to talk about that. And again, any questions about GESDATE as well. All of this pricing will be in the app and also online. So if you decide today that you want to become a user, you're able to go in and start and actually register and sign up, and you have the ability to become a user and pay for whichever level that you want. If you have any need to contact us at any time, you can feel free to send us a message in the app at any time. You can give us advice, suggestions, etc. You can email us at support@gestate.com. We love feedback. That is how we have built this app, and we will continue to build the app, is working with our advisors, working with the individuals that are using our app, and having the ability to basically come up with new ideas and have the ability to work as much as possible with those individuals. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We're certainly excited that you were able to come and check out GESDATE with us, and we were able to show you the functions and the capabilities of GESDATE. We hope that you have had your questions answered today. If you have any others, again, feel free to reach out to us. We are more than happy to answer any of those. If you have data and you have a large farm, a number of sows, and you would like our help to import that information, again, reach out to us. We can assist with that on the backside currently and help you get that migrated into the app. We are more than happy to do that. We are really excited about the future of GESDATE and the things that we have put together currently and what is coming, all of the items that we talked about earlier. And again, this is your app. We need your feedback. We want your ideas so that we can make this the most powerful app that's available in the industry. And we are really, really focused on purebred, show pig, and commercial producers, and we want to make sure that GESDATE is able to meet all of your needs. So thank you again for joining us on behalf of Michael, Josh, and myself, the co-founders of GESDATE. Thank you, and again, reach out to us if you have any questions. We hope you have a great day, and we look forward to hearing from you.